Record. Okay, so if you could just start us off with an introduction into you and your diagnosis and like what your journey's been about with regards to hair loss.
Yeah, so just like a brief overview before you delve into it, or
because we have people that have sometimes got alopecia or lost it through chemotherapy. So just kind of what's happened with you, I suppose.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the end of 2020, in the second lockdown, and then I went through treatment pretty much throughout 2021. And initially I was told I wouldn't need chemotherapy, but then as more tests were done, I ended up having chemotherapy. And despite I used the scalp cooling because I really did not want to lose my hair. So I thought I would try the scalp cooling method, like the cold cap.
Yeah.
And despite using that, I did lose a significant amount of hair, so I ended up shaving my head, and then didn't have any hair. Well, I did have like a very light covering of hair, but so I wasn't ever completely bald, but it was like when it was falling out, all of this bit here had completely gone, so that's why I decided to shave it off. And obviously now my hair is growing back and I do feel really lucky. And I know this is obviously a talk about people losing their hair, and I'm sitting here with quite long hair now, but I did, that was 4 years ago when I lost my hair. So yeah, I do, that was one of the most traumatic things to happen when I was losing my hair.
People, I think it's great for people to see you sat here with hair though, because I imagine when you're in the thick of it, you can't imagine ever being okay again, can you? And
I was obsessed with looking at people like 6 months after chemo, a year after chemo, 2 years after chemo, and I was just fixated with how quick would my hair come back and what will it look like. And I wanted to see people who had nice hair as well, because you read so much about people's hair being completely different and it's grey and it's unruly, and I was obsessed with finding accounts with people that still looked like young women, even though they had because a lot of people, their hair comes back and he's quite old ladyish for a bit, and that was the second worst thing, losing my hair, but then thinking I was going to have like an old lady hairstyle for like 2 years or something.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
When you're in the middle of something, it feels so long, doesn't it? You know, I've not been through chemo, but when I've been through other stuff, when you're in the thick of it, it just feels unbearable, and like every day is insanely long.
Yeah. I kind of I'd got over that. Okay, I'm going to lose my hair. I mean, that was a horrible, those probably 2 weeks, I think it was about 2 weeks, where it then really started coming out, and I had like 2 weeks of torture of, should I continue with the cold capping, and is it going to stop, is it going to slow down, or am I going to have to shave it? And I had about 2 weeks of that awful, didn't know what to do for the best. And there would be people who would maybe would have persevered and not shaved their head and just worn a wig topper, or there are things that you can do, and maybe I could have done that, but the anxiety of waking up every day, touching my hair and it coming out was destroying me. Then that's why I just decided to shave it off.
How did you find the cold capping? How did that process feel or go?
The first one, I'd read so much about it because I'm such a researcher and I need to know all the info. What's it going to feel like? What can I do? And I'd read everything that you could possibly read about it. And actually, I found my first session, to be fine. I'd read that it was going to be awful and it's painful and you feel sick and you feel that and you've got a really bad headache. And I actually found the first session okay, surprisingly okay. And I don't know if it was because of adrenaline or because I'd prepared myself for the worst case.
Yes.
So it was not as bad. So I was really pleased after the first session. And then I'm trying to remember of the time frame, but by the time it was my second, because I had chemo every 3 weeks. So by the second chemo, it had been 3 weeks and it had started to come out, which is normal. if you are going to scalp call, you're not going to save every hair on your head. That's just not ever going to happen. And they don't advertise that it will be like that. And I had started shedding hair, but you couldn't actually tell. There was a lot of hair coming out, but no one would be able to tell. But the second session, I think because I already knew my hair was coming out, and I don't think I had the same adrenaline, I found that second session a lot harder.
Okay.
Mentally and physically. I think it's because I had the first session, I was like, I'm going to save my hair. I'm going to be one of these people where it works, and I had this fire in my belly. Second session, I was feeling a bit crap anyway, because I'd already had one cycle of chemo. My hair was already falling out. I just don't think I had the same fight in me to do it. So I found that really hard. And the nurses, they were like, it's not really working. And so, you know, that was playing on my mind, that they thought that I was going to lose my hair. So I think it was about a week after that chemo that's when I shaved it off. But I did actually have for my third chemo, even though I had a shaved head, I did continue with the cold cap.
Okay. How long did it take? Is it the whole cycle that you sat in chemo, or is it an hour?
Yeah, you have it. I had to have it on, I think it was about 30 to 45 minutes before chemo.
Okay.
So you had to put it on first, and then you have your chemo, which takes us however long your chemo is going to take. So I think for me, my chemo took about an hour, and then I had to keep it on. I think it was something like 90 minutes after chemo.
Quite a while, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I had it on my head for at least 2-3 hours. Okay. It's quite a long time.
It is.
It is quite, so it delays the time that you're in the chair. And then the third chemo, when I had a shaved head, I said to the nurses, I'm going to carry on with the cold cap. They thought I was mental. I don't think anyone had ever done that before, but like, you've lost your hair, but you're going to carry on. But I had read that, and it's not something that's really talked about, and I don't want to scare anyone, but there is something called chemotherapy-induced alopecia.
Yeah.
And for some people, and it is a very small amount of people, but you can get permanent hair loss from chemotherapy. And it's not something that I was really told about, but I'd just done some research myself, and I thought, oh my God, I don't want that to happen to me. So that's why I continued with the cold cap, because that really will minimise the chances to, I don't know the exact statistics, but it's a very small chance that that's going to happen to you. And then obviously you've got the cold cap really protecting the follicles. So that's why I continued it. But then that was really hard with the shaved head, because there's nothing, like you imagine, there's nothing on your head. You've just got ice on your scalp. So yeah, I quit it. I managed to have it on before the chemo, and I had it on while I was having the chemo. But then as soon as the chemo was finished, I just said, take it off. And I didn't carry it on after that. And I was very emotional, because I felt like a failure.
Yeah.
And the nurses were really kind, like holding my hand. But I just, at the start, I was so determined that that's what I was going to do. To then have to decide I'm not going to do that anymore. That was a really big decision to make. But my hair, I never completely lost it. Like I was saying, I did actually, like you see some people that have chemo and they've got like a shiny bald head. Mine always had a bit of fuzz on it.
Yeah.
So I do think it did do something for me. So you know, at the time I was thinking, well, that was a waste of time, but I don't think it was a waste of time.
Did you lose eyebrows and eyelashes as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was hard, really hard. I remember one day I just went like that, and just to rub my face and my whole eyebrow came off.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God. And it was quite
traumatic.
That was quite late on. So I think I thought I'd escaped it. I think I thought it would all happen at the same time, but different hair on your body's on a different growth cycle. And your eyebrows and your eyelashes are different. I had my eyebrows tattooed though before, because I knew that I would probably lose them. So although it was more like, oh, my eyebrows have gone, and then I had the tattoo, so it wasn't too bad. But I would imagine if you hadn't had chance to do that, or you couldn't afford to do that, or whatever, that would be awful. I know some places will do it for free, won't they? Some places will tattoo your eyebrows for free if you're going to have chemotherapy, but not everywhere. I had to pay, but yeah, I would if you have the means, or there is somewhere that will do that for you, I would definitely advise you to do that, because it does make a big difference to your face.
It frames everything, doesn't it? And I know I get a lot of stick for my eyebrows online, but I think your eyebrows kind of frame your whole face, don't they? And they set where your expressions be and how you're going to apply your makeup. And
yeah. I mean, if I was having to just draw it on with no guide, God knows what.
Yeah. When you were in like the middle of the all hair's come out, eyebrows have come off, eyelashes are out, how did you find that? Like, did it take a big toll on your mental health, or did you have too much going on?
No, actually, the day I shaved my head was a really good day mentally, because I'd shifted in my mind and I was like, right, I'm going to do this. And never in a million years would I ever have thought that I would be able to sit there, have somebody shave my head and be laughing and joking. No way. I thought I'd be crying, but I'd spent 2 weeks making the decision, and I was crying a lot in that time, and that really did take a toll on my mental health. But then I can't remember who it was, but somebody said to me, your biggest fear is losing your hair. So once it's kind of happening, you kind of just, that, well, hopefully it will come back. So like, you've overcome your fear, and then you just focus on it coming back. So I was okay the day of shaving my head, but then day in, day out, looking in the mirror, when I first wake up in the morning, seeing my like no hair, no eyelashes, steroid puffy face, I just couldn't look in the mirror.
Really?
And even now, I really struggle to look at pictures of me at that time, because I just feel like I look disgusting. And I just don't look like me at all. To me, that's like a completely different person. So but I just wore a wig constantly, or I had a head covering. I'm like, my partner hardly saw me with a shaved head. I'd wear something to bed. I just couldn't bear the look of it. A couple of days I was like, yeah, I'm embracing this, and then when the reality kicked in, I was like, oh no, I can't be doing this. So,
and if you're not feeling well either because you're going through chemo, it's a different thing being well, feeling healthy, shaving your head because you think it looks great. That's a different energy, isn't it? But when you're poorly and feeling like crap and piling on pounds because prednisone's doing you over, and it's just a different energy, isn't it, completely, on how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's partly one of the reasons that led me to shave my head as well, is because when you're using the cold cap, you've got quite a routine that you need to follow to make sure that you do maintain as much of your hair, because obviously some of it is going to shed inevitably, and then you need to brush that hair out that's shedding, otherwise it's going to mat. And they advise that you brush it twice a day, and that you don't wash it very often. And it had this whole process that I found quite stressful, particularly once I started chemo and I felt very sick. And so I was just like, I just don't need this to be worrying about. And I felt like that was going to be for years, because I thought, even if I lose some of my hair, but I maintain some of it, I'm going to have a lot of maintenance. So I just was like, just get it off. Get it off, because that was just too much to think about. I really admire people that persevere with it all the way through. And then I admire people that shave their head straight away. There's no right or wrong way.
No, there's not. No, and sometimes you just have an idea in your head of how you think it's going to go, don't you? And you have to try it, else you'll always regret not tried it. What was like the hardest bit, do you think, with the hair loss journey? Which was the bit you struggled with the most?
I think there's 2 parts. Number one, when I really didn't know what to do for the best, because I just felt like I just thought maybe tomorrow it will stop falling out, and that will be the day, and I'll know that I don't have to shave it. But the realization of like daily, I mean, my hands would be like that, and it would just be a massive ball of hair. And that was just awful. So that was number one. And then number two, I think thinking about how long it was going to take to grow back. I just felt like, you know, people celebrate the end of treatment, but I just was like, I finished my treatment, but I look like a ghost of a person that I used to be. And the thought of it taking years to get back to any semblance of what I used to look like was really overwhelming. But it was I mean, it's not a funny story. It wasn't funny at the time, but when my hair started to grow back, and it was probably about this length, somebody had recommended that you could have these particular hair extensions, and the people have them and they look great. And so I found a place that would do it, and paid a fortune to have these hair extensions put in. And I was so excited. I was like counting down the days, thinking I was going to have long hair again. And I went to the appointment, and she put all this hair in, and I got home and cried because I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Yeah. And I just felt like I didn't look like myself. It was so, I got so used to having short hair, then suddenly have this long hair. I don't think she did a particularly good job either.
How were they fitted? What was the type of like the rings, or?
They were like the tiny little ring, like really micro nano rings.
Yeah, micro nano. Yeah.
But I've got really thick hair. I've always had really thick hair, and I just don't think she'd ordered enough hair. So I just felt like I got this like short hair and then these little thin. And I said, I was saying I look like those t-shirts that have the tassels at the bottom. I felt like I got these little tassels. And I was like, this is absolutely terrible. And also when I was feeling it, it felt really thin. It really triggered me to when my hair was falling out, and I was crying my eyes out. My partner came back from work. He was excited to see the result, and I was crying and had a hat on, and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, oh my God, I just can't go out looking like this. So then I rang my actual hairdresser, crying. She couldn't even make head nor tail of what I was saying, because I didn't go to my normal hairdresser. And she just said, I don't know what you're saying, just come to the salon. So I went in the salon crying my eyes out. So she just put me in this back room till she could deal with what the issue was. And I said, just take them out. Can you take them out? I hate them. I'm so embarrassed. And she painstakingly took all these hair extensions out. So I'd spent hundreds of pounds, and in the same day I had them all taken out.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah. And and it was very emotional, but a hugely pivotal moment, because I think I was trying so desperately to get back to who I was.
Yeah.
And then I had this hair that, I mean, it was a bit shit, but it was meant to make me feel like who I was. And then I think I realised that actually I'm a completely different person, and I need to stop trying to go back, and I need to actually go forward and not try to recreate the past, because you're never going to get there. And it was like really emotional, and it cost me like 400 quid to realise this, but actually it was a valuable.
It was a good lesson.
So my partner's like, we'll never talk about how much money you wasted in that one day. So you could have worn a wig. Oh, right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But did you have long hair before you got ill?
Really long hair. Okay. Yeah, it was probably down to about here.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, really long hair. And ironically, I'd had hair extensions before. I'd spent so much money, time, effort trying to grow my hair, and it just never grew. And then in lockdown, I really had a bit more time to really nurture my hair, and it suddenly had this lovely growth spurt. And I was like, oh my God, I've got the longest hair that I've ever wanted. And then got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh.
But then it kind of was like, do you know what? Actually, I had short hair for ages, like a pixie cut, and I really liked it. And I thought, it doesn't matter how long your hair is, Laura. Like, I'm just grateful to have hair.
Yeah.
And I know some people that's never going to be their reality, and I feel like so grateful. I was like, I'm going to embrace every stage and just own it, and that's what I tried to do.
What did you find? Was there anything that you found really helpful? that made anything a bit easier, or?
A few things. Number one was the Cancer Hair Care charity. I don't know if anyone else has ever spoken about that, but they were brilliant. I rang them before, as soon as I knew I was having chemo, I rang them. You can ring them, and it was like having counselling on the phone. It's free, and she talked me through what to expect and what you can do, and it was very personal to me. And I said I wanted to do the scalp cooling, and she gave me so much advice. So I felt so empowered. So when I went to the chemo chair, and the nurse was great, and obviously she's had the training, but I think when it's you living it, you make every note and every bit of like information. So I was like saying, I'm going to do this and this, and the nurse was saying, oh, we don't normally do it like that, but I was like, no, this is what I want to do, because this is what the Cancer Care charity have told me, and I felt really empowered about that. And they had said, even if you lose your hair, you can carry on. And if I hadn't had that call, I probably would have dismissed it and just said, I'm going to shave my head and not carry on. So I found that was really useful. And to be fair, I didn't actually ever lose my hair, and I think maybe would I have done if I'd have not done what they'd said, I don't know. So that was really useful. Feeling like myself, so wearing wigs, wearing like the lovely Edie Chops headwear, things like that really helped me to feel, I didn't want to feel like a cancer patient. I didn't want to go out and people to know I've got breast cancer. I'm very open about having breast cancer. I've got a public Instagram page, but I didn't want to be walking about and people going, oh, has she got cancer? I just didn't want that. So for me, I went out, hospital, whatever, I had full makeup, wigs, headwear, whatever it was, to feel normal. And then when it was growing back, I know some people just don't cut it, and I because they really want their hair to just grow back as quick as possible. But for me, I had it cut every 8 weeks, and I had different styles the whole way through, because I didn't want to just look like someone that was just growing their hair out after losing it. I was like, I want to look like I've intentionally had a hairstyle. And a lot of people say to me, oh, they liked my hair better when it was short. And I've never had so many compliments about my hair when it was really short. And it was great. And I loved, people going, oh, your hair looks amazing. I'd never have the bravery to have have my hair like that. But I still didn't feel like myself. I do feel more like myself with long hair. And maybe one day I'll cut it short. But by choice, I just owned it at each stage because that was my reality and I didn't really have a choice. But now I'm choosing to have long hair, and if I choose to have short hair, that's because I've chosen to have short hair, if that makes sense.
Yeah. For people that are kind of about to lose it or in the thick of it, have you got like 3 tips that you could give them for what's about to happen, or the nervousness that they've got at the moment, or anything that you think might be a little nugget of information?
Yeah, I think losing your hair for a lot of women and men as well, but I know it's particularly tied to like a lot of women's identity, and I can only speak because I'm a woman, but it is terrifying, the thought of it. But actually, once it's happened to you through having chemotherapy, that's your fear has happened, and then it does get a lot easier. It's really weird. And somebody said that to me, and I thought that's not going to happen. But once it's happened, it's not as bad. I obviously didn't enjoy it, but once it had happened, it was like my fears happened now. The worst thing that I thought was going to happen has happened, and now I'm not waking up dreading it. It's so whether you decide to just shave your head initially or you have to do that choice later, once you do it, you do feel better. Once that's happened, the build-up is horrible, but then once it's happened, those really strong knots in your stomach and that, they go. So it does get better, even when you're in the worst phase. It does get better, and I think find people who are going through the same. I think if you're having chemo at any age, but particularly when you're a young woman, everyone around you seems to be, having babies, going on holiday, but everything is so normal for everyone else, and it's you might be the only young person you've ever known to go through it. So I think it's really important to connect with other people that are going through the same thing, because otherwise it's really isolating. And, you know, me and some of the other girls that we had like stupid conversations, or, you know, sending silly photos, things I wouldn't send even to my bestest friends, because I was really embarrassed about what I looked like. Even like my bestest friend would not have seen me with no hair. They just I didn't ever show anybody really. I had like a picture, but that's very staged. I didn't just generally walk around with no hair. But actually, if you've got that little community where you can actually take the mick out of each other, and just be really open, really, really helps. It makes it seem a bit more normal as well.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's only two things. And then the third thing is, don't be afraid to cut your hair. It's fine, like, to cut it when it's growing back. Cut it and it grows just as well. Like, my hair is as long as somebody who never cut their hair, but then I had to style every kind of phase. I'm in like a few Facebook groups where people are like, oh, my hair is this long, I feel like an old lady, but I'm desperate for it to be long. And I just used to send pictures and say, you can still have nice hair,
Yeah.
even though it's short, and it will still grow. So don't be afraid to cut it as well.
Did you colour it much, or are you not really meant to colour it as it's growing back?
I think you're meant to wait 6 months.
Okay.
I waited longer than that. My hair was it was like such a short style. I felt like it didn't need a hair colour on it. I think it was probably about a year, maybe longer, before I put any kind of colour on it. When it first came through, I thought it was quite grey, and I thought, oh god. But actually, once it got a bit longer, it started to get a bit more pigment in it, and it wasn't any more grey than it had been before. So I'd heard, oh my god, your hair's me grey. My hair's always been curly, and I just used to straighten the hell out of it.
Yeah, same.
And I made a little promise to it. I was like, when it comes back, I will look after you much better. So I'm trying to, I mean, it just still have straighteners on, but not as much. So yeah, I'm trying to be kinder to it.
Does it feel different when it's growing back?
Yeah.
No.
Some people, yeah. But I think because I scalp cooled, mine came back exactly the same texture, same colour, everything. And I do think that's because of the scalp cooling.
Yeah. Were there any products that you kind of felt helpful, or?
Well, it's funny because when I was trying to save it, and I was using the most expensive hair products you've ever probably bought, because I was like, anything that's going to save it, and it didn't make any difference. Whatever you put here isn't going to affect here. And now I cannot bear any of those products, because the smell of them just takes me straight back to that hugely anxiety fueled time. I haven't used anything particularly, because I think, I mean, I don't know, you might have somebody that's a hair care expert coming on, but I feel like a lot of it is a marketing ploy.
I agree.
You know, so you might get someone chatting to you going, oh, use this, it's a wonder product. I really don't think anything is going to make a big difference. I use growth serums, but then I know people use castor oil, and I just used to massage my scalp, because I suppose that is something that you probably could do to promote blood flow. But I use whatever shampoo and conditioner is on offer.
Yeah. No, I remember, when I was on prednisolone, a lot of my hair fell out at the sides here, and I bought all the Grow Gorgeous stuff that was so expensive, and I didn't notice any difference whatsoever. I think it's more about what you're putting inside than what you're kind of rubbing on your head. You know, I think diet probably has a lot to do with it.
I just try to eat healthy. Whatever you put, eat healthy, try to get enough sleep, exercise, and my hair actually is growing a lot quicker now than before, because I go to the same hairdressing salon, but I have a different hairdresser for no particular reason. And the person that used to cut my hair is like, bloody hell, your hair never used to grow. Every time I come in, I'm like, is she wearing a wig? And it's like a joke that my hair never used to grow, because I abused it so badly. Now I look after it. It's like, they can't believe how quickly it's growing. So yeah, and I don't do anything particular. I don't use a particular brand. I just switch and change whatever's on offer.
Yeah, that's what I like. Although now
So I don't think you need to get a second mortgage. Yeah.
Ben uses the Yucca
You don't
app
need a
now, so he
second mortgage.
scans
It's not going to
everything
make
and
any
looks at like
difference.
products and sees what's in them and how bad they are, and they're like rated poor up to excellent, you know. So
Oh yeah, I have something. It's called Think Dirty or something. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
try to use that, but unfortunately, things are expensive, aren't they? Things that are good are expensive. I will always buy like vegan and stuff like that, but you can't always buy the cleanest products. Sometimes it's not financially possible, is it?
No, I think a good trim is kind of enough, isn't it? Sometimes, you know, as long as you're getting it trimmed and keeping the split at bay. If people wanted to find
and
you,
I don't wash it very often.
On Instagram, how would they find you if they want it? Because I know I've directed a few people to you that have been panicking. I think some people feel like they're being vain if they panic about losing their hair. And so they become ashamed.
Oh God, yeah.
They don't know who to talk to. And so I'll usually sort of direct people to you. But what's your Instagram handle? So if people wanted to come and have a nosy or a chat, or they can find you.
It's breast cancer and little old me.
Okay. Perfect.
So it's all one, obviously. Yeah, breast cancer and little old me. And I think you're right there. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's only hair," and I would say to people that say that, "Well, shave your head then." Like, if people think it's only hair, well, why are they not walking around with shaved heads?
Yeah.
Because that really used to get on my nerves. And
yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's only hair, it'll grow back. And then somebody said to me, "Oh, hair, it's just dead on your head." When you think about it, it's pretty disgusting, really. And I'm thinking, you're saying that with your luscious hair, that you're not really that disgusted by
Yeah. Yeah.
shaving your head off. You think it's disgusting. So people try to be positive, but when you're in that moment, nothing is positive. It's shit that you're going to lose your hair.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be upset about it.
It is.
It's
And
like, if you
it's
have
not the
cancer,
worst
you
thing that
might
can
have to have
happen,
something
is it?
amputated, or you're
Yeah.
losing a lot of your identity. So then
Yeah.
that's just another blow.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't make what you're going through any less awful, or the fact you've got cancer any less awful. But it's still a big part of feeling like crap, isn't it? And not feeling like you, and feeling out of control. And
yeah, and it's so visible, isn't it? It's so visible.
Yeah.
If somebody said, "Oh, you're going to have cancer, but you're just going to lose all your like body hair," and when you think, "Oh, that's a bonus, isn't it?" That is a bonus that you've got. You haven't got to get your waxing done and that, but you're going to lose all your other hair, and that's not so good.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for talking to me. I really, really appreciate it, because I know you've been working and it's the evening. And
oh, so God, no, anything, so many people help me, and then it's just carrying on, isn't it? And I hope, even if it's one person feels that they can resonate with the things I've said, then I really hope it helps make someone's life or day just that little bit better, knowing that, oh yeah, I felt like that, and it's only temporary.
Yeah, and they don't need to feel scared forever. There'll be an end to it at some point. And we just want to have like this support group there that people could come and take what they need from it. And some might be children that are just starting to lose their hair, or it could be anybody, couldn't it, that's sort of struggling.
Yeah.
And want to have like a little library there of support where people could just not feel so on their own, I suppose. So
yeah.
Right, I'm going to let you go.
Well,
thank you so much for your time. And I'll get this saved and pop it on YouTube, and I'll let you know when the link. Yeah, you too. Have a rest of the nice evening. Okay, see you later.
Thank you. Bye. 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 Bye.